All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, the global version. And I've had this phone for a little bit over a year, maybe a year and some change. But either way, I've had this phone for a while. And I've been messing with the Oppo Find N5, the Honor Magic V5, the Vivo X Fold 5. And I actually sold them recently. No complaints about it, just sold it just to give it to somebody else because I had so many phones. But anyway, we're going to jump into this bad boy today, and I got some thoughts around it. It does have the OriginOS 6 on it, the global version, and I got some thoughts about that. But anyway, let's get into it. All right, so first things first, we're going to talk about the hardware, what you actually see when you touch the device and when you look at this device. So on the cover display, you have your 2748 by 1172 resolution on this device. Very high resolution, very beautiful display. And just full transparency, this is the Pro version, like I said earlier, a moment ago. So they really tried to pack it, especially at the time, at the end of 2024, they packed this device. So understand that. So speaker at the top, IR blaster microphone, I believe that is. On the left side is a foldable, so you get your hinge, of course. On the bottom, you have another speaker. You have your mic down here, and you have your SIM tray. You do have your USB-C port there for your charging and your file transfer and things like that. On the right side, you have your power button, volume rocker, alert slider. I miss alert sliders. Since I switched back to the device, I really have a whole new appreciation for them. Everybody's doing away with them to put their action buttons on there or whatever they want to call them. AI buttons, camera button, whatever they want to call them. I miss my alert sliders. I know I'm in a minority on that, so which is fine. I don't care. Okay, so jumping over to the back, you have your two 50 megapixel, you have your main sensor 50 megapixel, and you have your wide angle 50 megapixel. And then you have your 64 megapixel telephoto with 3 times optical zoom. And you have your mic hole up there top, and you have your flash. So packed. Okay, so jumping back over to the main display. You know what? Since it keeps looking me in my face every time I talk about it, every time I look at the main display, we got to talk about it. It's one of my favorite features on this device. Even though it's packed with great cameras and decent software, my favorite feature on this device is the fingerprint reader. Boom. Look at that. Boom. Oh, what? But it doesn't stop there. Open that bad boy up, fingerprint reader. Boom. Boom. It's so responsive, and it's in the screen on both screens. So if you're opening it up and you have this phone open all the time, you hit your fingerprint on there, you can hit it quick. I genuinely dislike that these companies are going to the fingerprint reader in the power button. On the newer devices, I bump it all the time. I'm not a fan. Not saying it's bad, not saying it's good or anything like that. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I just don't like them. I don't care for them. I really prefer the in screen. Look at that. Just bump it in it. Oh, so good. Okay. So anyway, let's keep going. Let me talk about the inner screen. The main screen, I guess, is what it's called. This is 2480 by 2200, which is a 2K plus screen. Just a huge, beautiful display. Both screens are AMOLED. Both screens have 120 hertz refresh rate. The peak brightness is 4500 nits, and you'll have no issues seeing the screens in direct sunlight. I can see the screen even when it's matted with fingerprints, so no issues there. I think you'll be just fine. I guess what we'll go ahead and do is just kind of jump into the software, and I feel a certain way about OriginOS 6, the global version. It's getting closer to where I want it to be, but it's not there yet. And I'll show you what I mean. Everything is fluid. Everything works fine. But when you get into customization on this operating system on this phone, it feels clunky. That's the best way I can say it. And here's what I mean. I'm not going to dive too deep into it. Uh, yeah, let's talk about the clunkiness first, and then we'll talk about the other features. So when you're in here and you're setting up your phone and you want to get to your screens, you know, the screens that we're used to. I'm going to navigate the way that I know to get to it. You get to this screen and you see the 3 screens where you can customize it all in one spot and just change things how you want them to be. It feels weird navigating there. And so like you have your themes here and I can get there this way, but it will apply that theme to it. So you have to go back in and reset up your wallpaper and so on and so forth to get it back to where you want it to be. And then you can go in and start managing the changes again. I don't want to have to apply a theme and then go in and change everything back to where I had it and to make minor adjustments. And let's go to wallpapers. You get your wallpaper here, you click on it, you could apply it, and then you have to hit customize to get back here again. Or you could just apply the wallpaper. It just feels, to me, like I said, just my opinion, it just feels like it doesn't flow. It just feels weird, like it's all over the place to me. I feel like they need to combine some of these menus to get it to where everything just makes more sense. But outside of that, you do have your themed icons, which is not a thing on the Chinese version of OriginOS 6, or I can't find it. I've been going back and forth, just digging and digging, and I cannot find the theme icons, and this should not be that hard. But another feature that's missing, and I don't know if this is device specific or not, or this is just a global OriginOS 6 thing, but you do not have full screen always on display. As you see, when you lock the phone, it pops up, and it has that always on display, which kind of mimics whatever your lock screen is at the moment. But it does not have full screen always on display, which is kind of odd to me. I don't know if it's coming later or if that was a decision they made based on this particular device. But yeah, OriginOS 6 feels like it's trying to get closer to OriginOS 6, the Chinese version, but just not quite there yet. It's trying. But on the brighter side, they have incorporated a workbench on this device. So let's go ahead and open it up and let's fire up Workbench. So let's open YouTube, swipe up from the right corner, and your Workbench populates. Good stuff. But if you want to go one step further, what you can do is you can click down here, and I think it should, hold on. I did it earlier, but now all of a sudden it doesn't want to do it. So let's go ahead and click into this app. And then let's open another app. So let's open the browser. Boom. Well, there we go. All right. All right. So now I should be able to go into Workbench. Let's see. You know, so here's another issue. This is why I like doing things live. It's kind of behaving oddly for some reason. But here we go. We swipe up from that corner. Swipe back out, and let's open up another app. So I got that open. Let's do YouTube. There we go. Now it's starting to work a little bit better. So it was just feeling weird for a moment. But here we go. But there was a button here that's not present right now for some reason. But I was able to switch into back and forth between Workbench and just dual display apps. So once again, just one of the things that's really weird. But even with those 2 apps open, you can swipe up from the right corner and it will open Workbench. So there we go. And let's open up the Play Store, drag it over, boom. So you have both options here, but you cannot have more than 2 apps open on this device. So, and I'll show you what I mean. See, it's not even giving me the option to open another app. Like I can't even open it as a window. So you can't force it to allow you to do 3 apps at once, which is kind of weird to me. I mean, I guess, but let's cancel that. And let's go back to Workbench. There we go. So it's working smoothly. I wish that it would allow me to switch back and forth between the two, but it won't for some reason. Very weird. But this is very fluid. It works very well. So the software, they're getting there. They're getting there. I just want them to get there quicker, because this is when it works very well, but it's very inconsistent right now. So I'm sure they'll get there eventually. All right. So if there is more customization stuff you want me to dive into with the global version of OriginOS, I will gladly do that. Feel free to drop a comment down below. But what we're going to do now is go ahead and jump into the cameras and talk about those a little bit, okay? So this section is going to be pretty much all positive because I still love the cameras on this device. I took these photos yesterday, and they did such a great job. I'm gonna pop these up because I'm not sure that the color is gonna look great on the cameras and how it's picking up or whatever. But anyway, the cameras are so good on this device that I've used it for a little bit of everything, trying to create thumbnails for my YouTube channels, to taking pictures of my son, like really low light photos of my son. Look at that. So yeah, this is just, look, okay, look, I'm gonna pop these bad boys up on the screen for you guys and let you judge for yourself. But just know, they did a great job with these cameras on here. But I'll pop those up on the screen in just a moment. But I do want to go through the menus really quickly. You have your typical stuff here. You even have your super macro option on this device, which works really, really well. You have your different menus here. Actually, let me close so you can see those bigger. I wasn't expecting it to be a continuous app. But anyway, you have your cinematic, portrait, video, photo, portrait, night, snapshot. I mean, it's just packed. And the cameras themselves are so good. I mean, you hear 50 megapixel, 64, and you think, now the numbers themselves are good, but you know, with everybody throwing 200 megapixel cameras on their device, you think, whatever. But these cameras still hold up to today. I still love these cameras. Very consistent, very good. The processing, so on and so forth. The app itself being feature packed. I mean, just incredible. And you have even more options here. I mean, okay, whatever. Let me pop some photos up for you guys, see photos and maybe some videos. And I'll be back in a moment to wrap this up. All right, so now that you guys have seen those photos and see why I just thoroughly enjoy this device as far as a camera taker on a foldable, craziness. Anyway, let's keep moving forward and let's talk about the battery really quickly. For this to be almost a two-year-old device, the battery still holds up fairly decently. I've really gotten spoiled by current devices with the larger batteries and software optimization and so on and so forth. So I'm used to making it through 2 days of usage Whereas this device only gets you a day, and you kind of have to throw it on charge at the end of the day every day. No, I mean, there's no exception. I'm a fairly heavy user, but even when I try to dial down my usage a little bit, I still was making it a day. And I still felt more comfortable throwing it on the charge at the end of the day, letting it charge up so I'd be primed for the next day. So you see the red bar there. I got really low and I had to throw it on the charger. But this thing does charge up incredibly fast. I mean, crazy fast. I'll pop the number up there on the screen because I thought that I thought I saw like 50-watt charging, something like that. But I'll pop it up for you guys. But this thing charges insanely fast. You're fully charging easily under an hour, maybe 40 minutes, maybe from 0 to 100. So the battery shouldn't be an issue because you throw it on charger for a moment and you'll be back in working order in no time. So you'll see my screen on time there is 5 hours and 16 minutes. You can get 6 hours on average if you're not doing crazy stuff like me, but I was updating games and stuff like that and so on and so forth. But anyway, decent battery life for today's standard, not amazing, but decent. And let's talk about haptics a little bit. The haptics are really solid on here. So let's see, haptic feedback. You can turn it. I could hear it. I don't think my mic would pick it up because I have noise canceling on. But the haptics are really strong on here. I heard this thing vibrating in the other room yesterday when I was getting a call. That's what I want to feel. The Honors, as much as I love my Honor devices that I have, the haptic feedback, the vibration motors in the device are really weak. This is not that. The haptics in this device are really good. And finally, to wrap this all up, let's go ahead and keep this moving. In 2026, I still can say that Vivo did something really great with this device. I mean, just a solid device. A little heavy, I mean, especially by today's standards, but whatever. Cameras are amazing. Software is but the cameras are amazing. And just using this device, I feel confident. Like I don't have to take an additional device out that has a great camera or anything because we know that on foldables the cameras tend to be weaker than the slab phones. You're good when you got this in your pocket. You're good. Even in 2026, you're good. So I just want to revisit the device and show it some love. Vivo did great with this device. From the volume, from the alert slider to the fingerprints readers being in both screens. Just well thought out. But anyway, enough swooning. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to like and subscribe for more content like this. And I will see you in the next one. All right, later.